Okay, so here we are in Danville, Illinois. So this client found a pretty unique house. I mean, it's definitely unique. Got some issues, but they're going to use the makeover mortgage process to roll all of these renovations into the mortgage. Now they're dealing with one of the nation's leading renovation loan lenders, so that's good. So the lender knows what they're doing. And then they've hired Makeover Consulting and Inspection to come through here and kind of tell them everything that's wrong with the house, like these handrails, the flooring needs fixed. So what we're doing today is we're going through this house and we're noting all of the FHA minimum property standards. Like in this room, it needs all new flooring, needs the vent registers put together. It's got to fix the tile flooring. Got to fix these pieces of trim that are kind of dinged up. We're checking for smoke detectors, holes in the wall, make sure things work. These cabinet doors need to be put back on, as you can see here. The light cover plate, or the outlets, cover plates, everything just needs to function. So what's happening is the client is negotiated the price on the home, and they have a renovation budget. We're not exactly sure if it's going to be enough, but we're gonna figure it out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna list the drywall patches, new flooring, putting the doors back together, anything that's needed to pass FHA minimum property standards, like these light or switch covers, proper lighting. So anything that doesn't work, like this door, there's no door here, it's a pocket door, it's sitting here. So they need to put that back in order to pass FHA so the lender can loan them the money. So one other option here is we could possibly switch this to a conventional loan if the client qualifies for conventional, because what happens then is we don't have to do all of the FHA minimum property standards because it's irrelevant, because it's a conventional loan. So then all we're worried about is, what needs to be done to make this home livable and function so that the appraiser gives it a proper value. Okay, so in this scenario, we're gonna call the lender and we're gonna say, hey, can this client borrow money with a conventional loan versus an FHA loan? And if the answer is yes, then that's pretty good news here, because the client now has more choices and more options, and they're not stuck with doing the FHA minimum property standards. Okay, so when you're dealing with FHA, things like this roof leak need to be fixed. These carpets, if they're stained, need to be cleaned. This is a pretty cool house, though, man. It's huge. Now the roof's bad, obviously, because it's leaking, so they're going to have to replace that pretty much no matter what type of loan they get, because you can't have your roof leaking, whether it's conventional or FHA type financing. But this is a huge space and tons of square footage, and the house is really, really inexpensive considering how big it is. But it's Danville, Illinois, so things are a little cheaper here than other parts of the state. So you can see all these leaks in the roof, so it needs to be fixed. This door needs to be fixed. The floor hole needs to be fixed. And that's all for FHA. Conventional, though, they could probably let a lot of this stuff slide. You see these skylights are leaking, so they're going to remove all those when they redo the roof. This electrical's just hanging here. A bunch of ceiling tiles are missing or damaged. Those will need to be replaced. The drywall here below the panel boxes need to be replaced. But if it's conventional, once again, you might not have to do it as long as the appraiser lets it slide. And then here's some mold. So certainly that needs to be addressed no matter what, because it's just unsafe. Holes in the drywall with mold. And you see they got a bunch of ceiling tiles missing. Now, one thing we can do down here is we could literally call this an unfinished basement, and they can remove all the stuff that's bad and just call it a day and say, hey, this is an unfinished basement, and that would pass. So that's a little trick of the trade that we can help you with. to get the loan done. Now, this well and water softener system, it's leaking, so it definitely needs to be fixed. You can see there's water on the floor here, and there's mold here on the wall, so all this needs to go away. And you know, there's no covers on the electrical, and there's water on the floor. So there's all different things we can do depending on the type of loan. That's going to dictate what this list is. If it's an FHA loan, we're going to do an FHA minimum property standards list. If it's a conventional loan, we're going to go just bare minimum, and then we're going to let the appraiser decide if it needs to be done or not. And if it needs to be done according to the appraiser, then we'll just simply add it to the bid. No big deal. So like with FHA, they would require a handrail right here. You got to have a handrail. But if it's conventional, they might not even call that out. Might not even be needed. So if you're out house hunting, or you want to go house hunting with a realtor that knows how to do this, and then get hooked up with bankers and contractors that know how to do this, and you want to go find a house and then roll renovations into the mortgage, get a hold of us here at Makeover, and we can walk you through it, make those introductions, and get you out looking for, you know, kind of the home of your dreams. And then once you find it, we can make it exactly what you want, roll all of those improvements and renovations into one mortgage. You make one payment, and then at closing, you know, your payments start, and then your contractor gets started, and your renovation money goes into escrow. And as work gets done, we come back out, we prove to the bank that the work is done, and then your contractor gets paid. And that's how it works.